Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going to be doing a deep dive into relationships, more specifically, like how to build a healthy one.
That's right.
We're using this really insightful guide that I found, and we're excited to share some of the insights with you.
Yeah, it's really interesting because instead of just focusing on the negative, like what not to do,
Yeah.
it really highlights what moves us normal and healthy.
Yeah. So you can feel empowered, not paranoid, right?
Exactly. It's like a breath of fresh air.
And get this, we'll be uncovering some green flags in disguise.
Oh, yeah.
Things that might seem concerning at first glance, but actually point to a strong bond.
Yeah, like needing space, for example.
Exactly. That's one of them.
It's not a bad thing at all.
But before we jump into all that good stuff,
Right.
we should touch on some of the serious red flags that the guide highlights.
Definitely the things you really don't want to ignore.
Yeah, things like lack of communication or controlling behavior, dishonesty, those kinds of things.
Exactly. Those are big warning signs, and the guide really explains WHY. They're so damaging.
They chip away at the foundation of the relationship, right?
Yeah. Trust and respect.
Which are crucial.
Absolutely crucial for any healthy relationship. And, it's important to remember that some of these red flags can be super subtle,
Oh, yeah.
like gaslighting, for example.
Ah, that's a tricky one.
Yeah, it's a form of manipulation where someone tries to make you doubt your own reality.
It's scary. It's like they're trying to rewrite your reality,
Why?
which can be really damaging to your self-esteem and ability to trust yourself.
It is, and recognizing the signs is so important.
The guide actually gives some really helpful tips on how to spot it,
Oh, that's good.
which I think is super valuable for anyone who's ever felt confused or unsure of themselves in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because you deserve to be with someone who validates your feelings and respects your perspective.
100%. Okay, so N now W for the fun part. Let's talk about those green flags in disguise, things that might initially seem like red flags, but are actually signs of a healthy dynamic. Like we said earlier, one that stood out to me was the whole needing personal space thing.
Yeah, that's a classic one.
So many people worry when their partner needs time alone,
Yeah.
but the guide really stresses that it's completely normal, even beneficial.
It is. Needing personal space doesn't mean you're pulling away from the relationship.
Right.
It means you're comfortable enough to be your own individual within the partnership.
I love that it's like you're saying, I trust you to be you, and I'm going to be me.
Exactly.
And that fosters mutual respect,
Absolutely. And it allows each person to continue to grow and evolve.
which actually strengthens the bond in the long run.
It does. It's not about being two halves of a whole. It's about being two whole individuals who choose to share their lives.
And support each other's journeys.
Exactly. Another one that might surprise people is disagreements.
Oh, yeah, that one threw me for a loop at first.
I know, right? But think about it. All couples argue.
That's true.
It's human nature. It's how you handle those disagreements that matters.
That makes sense.
It's about healthy conflict resolution.
So instead of viewing disagreements as a threat,
You can see them as an opportunity to grow closer.
that's a powerful shift in perspective.
It really is. And one of the most effective strategies is to focus on expressing your own feelings and needs.
Rather than blaming your partner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Use I statements instead of you statements,
Oh, that's a great tip. I think we all need a reminder to communicate effectively.
especially during those heated moments.
For sure. All right. Oh, so we've talked about the red flags.
The sneaky green flag.
Exactly. Now I think it's time to move beyond just avoiding the bad stuff.
And focus on building the good stuff.
What can we do to actively create a healthy and fulfilling relationship?
That's a great question, and that's what we'll dive into next.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear more about this.
Me too. Stay tuned. So one of the things that the guide emphasizes is the importance of setting clear boundaries early on.
Boundaries.
Yeah, and it's not about being controlling. It's more about being open and honest about your needs and expectations.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you might be surprised how much easier it is to navigate challenges when you've established those boundaries right from the start.
It's like setting the ground rules for a healthy and respectful partnership.
Exactly. And, it actually ties in with another key point the guide makes about supporting each other's independence.
Oh, yeah, we touched on needing personal space.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like the next level of that.
Okay, I'm interested. Tell me more.
It's about actively encouraging your partner to pursue their passions, maintain their friendships, and engage in activities outside of the relationship.
It all comes back to that idea of fostering individual growth, right?
Yeah. You're not trying to merge into one entity.
Right.
You're two individuals choosing to share their lives and support each other's unique paths.
I really love that perspective.
It's a lot healthier and more sustainable in the long run.
I agree. Okay, so we've got boundaries and independence.
hmm
What else does the guide recommend?
Well, it also talks about the importance of understanding how our past experiences can impact our present relationships.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is, we all come with baggage, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how do we navigate that, especially when it comes to potentially sensitive topics?
Yeah, that can be tricky. What does the guide suggest?
Well, it emphasizes approaching these conversations with compassion.
Okay.
You know, remember, your partner's past experiences, especially if they were difficult or painful, have likely shaped who they are today.
That's true.
So when they open up to you, try to listen without judgment.
Don't just jump to conclusions.
Right. Instead of focusing on the past itself, focus on understanding how those experiences might be influencing their present thoughts, feelings, and behaviors.
It's so easy to get defensive or reactive.
I know, I do it too.
But if we can pause and try to see things from their perspective, it can make a huge difference.
Absolutely. And sometimes simply understanding a partner's past can help us make sense of things that might otherwise seem confusing or hurtful.
That makes sense.
It allows us to approach the relationship with more empathy and grace.
I love that. So it's about creating a space of understanding and acceptance.
Exactly. And, if those past experiences are causing significant challenges in the present, the guide recommends seeking professional help,
Oh, yeah, therapy.
right? Either individually or as a couple.
Therapy can be so beneficial. It's not a sign of weakness or anything.
Not at all.
It shows strength and a commitment to growth.
Absolutely. All right, so we've talked about recognizing red flags
Embracing those green flags in disguise.
and navigating the complexities of the past.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is. But now let's talk about the proactive stuff.
Yes. Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
What can we actually do to build a strong and fulfilling relationship?
One of the most important things is prioritizing trust and honesty.
Okay, that sounds pretty basic, but
Yeah, it sounds simple, but it really is the bedrock of any lasting relationship.
yeah, I can see that.
Being open and honest with each other, even about uncomfortable topics, builds a sense of security and intimacy.
It's like you're saying, I trust you enough to be vulnerable with you.
Exactly.
And that vulnerability creates a deeper connection.
Yes. And it goes hand in hand with active listening.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one sometimes.
It can be, but it's so important.
It's not just about hearing the words your partner is saying,
It's about truly understanding their perspective and empathizing with their feelings.
which prevents misunderstanding.
Exactly. And it makes both partners feel heard and valued.
We all want to feel heard, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It takes practice to be a good listener.
Yeah, sometimes I have to remind myself to really be present in the conversation.
Me too.
Yeah.
Especially when it's difficult or challenging.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so trust, honesty, and active listening.
Mm-hmm.
What else can we do to nurture that loving connection?
Well, the guide also highlights the importance of growing together as a couple,
Oh,
but also individually.
ooh, that's interesting.
It's like you're on a journey together,
Right.
but you're also allowed to have your own separate paths.
So it's about finding that balance between shared experiences and individual pursuits.
Exactly. You can support each other's growth while also nurturing your own passions and interests.
That can be tough, though.
It can be. But when you find that balance, it can really help prevent codependency.
And maintain a sense of personal fulfillment within the relationship.
Exactly. And one of the best ways to support each other's growth
Yeah.
is by celebrating each other's successes and offering a shoulder to lean on during challenges.
Be each other's biggest cheerleader.
Yes, exactly. It's about creating a safe and supportive space where you can both thrive and evolve.
And I think that sense of support extends beyond the big milestones.
Oh, yeah.
It's also about appreciating those everyday acts of love and kindness.
Absolutely. Recognizing and acknowledging those small things goes a long way.
Those small gestures are like deposits in the emotional bank account of the relationship.
You're exactly right. They really add up over time, creating a sense of security and connection.
Okay, so we've got trust, honesty, active listening, mutual growth appreciation for those small things.
Right.
What else? What about fun?
Oh, yes. Fun is crucial. Don't forget to have fun together.
Sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the serious stuff.
It is. But cultivating joy and laughter is so important for a healthy relationship.
It can be a great stress reliever.
Exactly. Make time for date nights, try new things together, be silly, and don't take yourselves too seriously.
Life is too short to be serious all the time.
Exactly. Remember, building a strong and healthy relationship is an ongoing process.
It's a journey, not a destination.
Well said.
It is a journey, not a destination, that's for sure. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious about one more thing.
Who is it?
We've spent a lot of time talking about what not to do in a relationship.
Right, all those red flags.
But what if we flip the script and focus on what TO do? How can we actively cultivate a relationship that's truly thriving?
That's a great question. It's about shifting our focus from problem solving to possibility creating.
I like.
Instead of just avoiding red flags,
Yeah.
you can actively cultivate those green flags we were talking about.
So it's like we're gardeners tending to our relationship and helping it flourish.
Exactly. And just like a garden needs sunlight, water, and nutrients to thrive, a relationship needs consistent care and attention.
Okay, I like that analogy. So what are some of those essential nutrients for a healthy relationship? What can we do to create that fertile ground for love to grow?
One key ingredient is creating a culture of appreciation within the relationship.
A culture of appreciation. Tell me more about that. What does that look like in practice?
It's about making a conscious effort to acknowledge and appreciate your partner's efforts, both big and small.
Okay.
Expressing gratitude for the things they do for you, the qualities you admire in them, and the joy they bring to your life.
So it's about making them feel truly seen, heard, and valued?
Exactly. For who they are at their core.
That makes sense. It's not just about saying thank you when they take out the trash.
Right.
It's about going deeper and expressing genuine appreciation for who they are as a person.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can simply tell your partner how much you love and appreciate them.
Right.
And be specific about what you admire. Instead of just saying, I love you. Maybe you say, I love how thoughtful you are.
Oh, I like that.
Or, I really appreciate your sense of humor.
Those little compliments can go a long way.
They really can.
Yeah.
It's like you're shining a spotlight on their best qualities and letting them know that you see them and you cherish them.
Exactly. And actions speak volumes, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Small gestures of love and kindness can be incredibly powerful.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Maybe you make them a cup of coffee in the morning, leave a sweet note, or surprise them with their favorite dessert.
Oh, those are nice.
Those little things really add up and create a sense of warmth and connection.
It's like you're saying, I'm thinking of you and I want to make your day a little brighter.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It's the thoughtfulness that counts.
It's the small deposits in the emotional bank account of the relationship.
You got it.
Yeah.
Every act of kindness, every expression of appreciation is like a deposit that strengthens the bond and creates a sense of security.
Okay, so we've got appreciation as a key nutrient. What else can we do to nurture that loving connection?
Well, another important ingredient is creating rituals of connection.
Rituals of connection. I like the sound of that. What do you mean by that?
It's about establishing regular practices that foster intimacy and connection.
Okay.
These rituals can be simple but meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a nightly ritual of sharing your highs and lows from the day,
Oh, that's nice.
or you make a point of having a tech-free date night once a week.
I love that idea. It's about creating dedicated time and space for each other, even amidst the busyness of life.
Exactly. It's about being intentional about nurturing the relationship. These rituals don't have to be grand or elaborate.
Right.
It's the consistency that matters.
It's about creating those little pockets of connection that weave together to create a tapestry of shared experiences.
Beautifully said.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive. We've gone from spotting red flags to actively cultivating green flags.
I know, it's been a great conversation.
It's like we've shifted from a defensive mindset to a proactive one, and that feels so much more empowering.
It is empowering. It's a much more fulfilling way to approach relationships.
It's about focusing on what you can create rather than what you need to avoid.
Exactly.
So instead of asking what could go wrong, you can ask, what can we do to make this relationship amazing?
I love that. That's a wonderful question to carry with you. Instead of getting caught up in the potential pitfalls, how can you proactively build a relationship based on trust, respect, mutual growth, and of course, love? It's a continuous journey, but it's a beautiful one. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
That's right.
There are resources available like this insightful guide we've been exploring today, as well as therapists and counselors who can offer support and guidance along the way.
That's so important to remember. There's no shame in seeking help and support when you need it. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the red flags, embraced those green flags in disguise, and discovered some powerful ways to actively nurture a thriving relationship. I hope you found this deep dive as insightful and inspiring as I have.
Me too. It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you. And remember, the most important thing is to approach relationships with an open heart, a willingness to learn and grow, and a commitment to building something truly special.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.